new magazine. So excited. Unboxing. Ah, Grace Kelly! Oh, this is so cute. Oh, I'm so excited. Hello darlings and welcome back to my channel. So even though I know I may look like a time traveller from the 1950s, I'm actually not. But don't reveal my secret. I am a thoroughly modern woman who enjoys all of the comforts of the life in the 21st century, like vaccines, the right to vote, driving a motor car, and of course, that most wonderful font of all knowledge, the internet. Obviously you are actually watching me via the internet right now, so I'm assuming that you too are a staunch believer in its wonderful powers and virtues. I think over the last year with the coronavirus pandemic, and maybe you are someone who suffers with a chronic illness or poor immune system, or got into an accident, or other such things that mean that you usually spend a lot of time anyway inside. I think all of us have definitely become a lot more reliant and with a higher usage of the internet. You don't even want to know what my phone's weekly stats are for the usage right now. It is bad. But something that's been on my mind over the last, I would say, month or so especially, has been a really conscious effort to reflect on how I use the internet and how I engage with it, and trying to make that a lot more of an intentional and positive thing that adds to my life rather than detracts from it. I think the way that we use the internet can definitely have a really big impact on our mental health and our mood, and today I wanted to share some of my personal tips for how I like to engage with the internet in the most positive and happy way possible to make sure that it is something that actively adds to my life rather than being something that's a bit bad for me. So, number one is the block button. The great gods of the internet, those wonderful deities, blessed us with the block button, and I believe in a liberal and widespread use of it. Curate your space. I know there is the argument that the world isn't a safe space, so the internet shouldn't be either, but that is complete rubbish. Absolute tosh, hokum, bullabaloo, anything else you want to call it, it's absolutely not a useful sentiment to have in your life. The internet and social media especially is a space that you basically have such a high level of control over. Not 100%, but incredibly close, and I think that you should definitely use the control that you have. Block people that you know, people that you don't know, things that you perhaps find upsetting or triggering, just get them out. If you don't like it, if it doesn't actively spark joy and make you happy when it comes up on your feed, then get rid of it. If you are, for example, having issues with a friend or a family member where you find their content quite upsetting, or you're not really sure how you feel about them, maybe there's an issue in that relationship, and you don't want to block them because you think it would cause unnecessary drama, then mute. Mute is your friend because they don't know that you've muted them, but you don't have to see anything that they do. I'm a big fan of the mute button. So overall, just make your internet space something that you're happy to go to, rather than something that you're like, oh god, I have to see that again. My second tip is making sure that you are not actively engaging in self-destructive habits. So this is something that I can be, quite bad for sometimes, and I think it's a really strong impulse that we all have to be sure that we are actively working against, and that is, you will see a post, maybe it's a political post with a very strong strongly worded view, whether you agree with it or you don't. And I look at that post and I think, whew, the comments under that are going to be a dumpster fire. And then I click on them anyway, and they are, and it really upsets me. Or people are expressing really horrible negative views and being really cruel to each other, to the post, to the world, and it just puts me in a really negative frame of mind, and it's just not good for you. So something that I've been trying to do a lot more recently is if I see something that I'm like, oh, the comment section is not going to pass the vibe check there, I just force myself to scroll past. I make sure that I don't click on the comments. I'm just like, nope, I'm taking a step back. This isn't something that I need. This isn't something that's going to add anything to my life. It's not going to bring me more knowledge. It's not going to bring me more happiness. And it's not going to broaden my worldview. And it's not going to make me feel good about humanity at large. So I'm just going to scroll on past. And I think that's a really, really useful tip to make sure that you try and follow where possible. If you are someone who finds it really hard to avoid getting into like comment debates, we've all seen those comments that we just think, oh, I really want to like go in and tell them. Most of the time that's actually not really going to bring you anything, and it's just going to end up with you being frustrated. Sometimes you can get reasonable discourse, but most of the time, yeah, probably not. So something that I find really, really helpful that hopefully will help you is if you see a comment that you're like, oh, I want to say something, then I click reply. I type out the entire comment full of the strongly worded things that I really want to say. I read through it all, and then I delete it and I move on. And I find this really helpful because you get the catharsis and the release of saying everything that you want to and writing out the comment and reading it and being like, yeah, but you don't actually have to A, deal with the backlash of the person that you're replying to, or B, deal with the sometimes instant feeling of regret that you would get if you decided to actually post that comment. So that is just a little tip of something that I find really helpful to manage that almost a desire for conflict that I think the internet can sometimes foster, especially on places like Twitter or Facebook comments. Yeesh, those are a minefield. So that is something that will hopefully help you if that's something that you struggle with. So you have curated your space, you've removed the negative vibes, you're dealing with not falling into self-destructive habits. How do you engage in a positive way with the internet? Well, something that I really, really like to do and that I've been making a really conscious effort to do more of is positive comments. Uplift the things and the people that you love. For some reason, I am the absolute worst at commenting on things. There are creators whose videos I have followed for years, like 3-4 plus years on YouTube and Instagram, and I've never left a comment under their videos, and I have no idea why I do this, because these are people that, you know, you feel very fond towards in that weird way that the internet does kind of foster, and their content is something that might have really helped you or made you happy or even gotten you through a difficult time in your life. Tell them, leave a comment under their YouTube video, comment under their Instagram post. Share it to your friends and to your story and promote them. And I find this to be such an endorphin rush, is when I leave a really nice positive comment saying, oh, I really loved this because. Those are the kind of comments that I love receiving, is very specific things about why people enjoyed something. You know, just having someone say, oh, I really liked this, that is amazing and I love it, but I would rather know why. And those are the comments that I try to leave under someone's videos. You can also, number 4, engage in private messaging. I wouldn't recommend necessarily doing this all the time, but this is actually how I have made some really amazing internet friends. I have friends from Arizona, from Australia, from Italy, and it's amazing. So if you have a creator that you really, really, really like and that you find their content really perhaps inspirational or educational, or it brings you a great deal of joy, send them a private message. So I'm thinking Instagram here, but whatever social media platform you are using works, and just say, hi, this is a basic format you can use. Hi, I know this is a bit out of the blue, but I've been following you for a while, and I just wanted to say that I find your content to be really amazing, and it brings me a really great amount of joy, and I really admire the hard work that you put into this content, and I just wanted to let you know, and I hope you have a great day. And that's kind of the basic format I tend to follow, and that's really great because it doesn't necessarily have to start a conversation if the person for whatever reason doesn't really want to reply. And don't feel bad if they don't. Sometimes people don't see messages, sometimes people are having a low day and they really can't muster up the emotional energy to respond. Sometimes they're just not comfortable either receiving compliments or receiving messages from strangers, and those are all things to respect. But if they don't want to reply, then it just allows them to see the message, feel really happy, and then move on. Or it can also foster a little bit of a conversation if they feel like they want to engage further. And I've had a few of these messages in my time, and they're things that I really hold close to my heart, because it's so lovely to hear from someone that I really like your content, I watch it when I get ready in the mornings, or you make me feel really happy and your content is really uplifting. And I really love to share joy and optimism and positivity, and I want to spread that to different people. And I find that the people that I've gotten responses from, even if I haven't built like a friendship with them, if they've just responded once, they're so happy. And I think receiving that payback when you're a creator, you sometimes don't feel like you get that much payback. There's just a constant need to create more and more and more and more. So just having someone take that time and say, hi, like the hard work that you put in, I see it and it's amazing and you're doing a really good job, that can just change someone's entire day or even their week. And I think that's a really amazing thing to do. So that is definitely commenting and leaving positive private messages are a really great way to share some joy on the internet to other people. So my final tip is making sure that you are engaging with the internet instead of just existing on it. So we've all experienced those days where you're sat and you're scrolling through your phone and then you realize it's been like half an hour or an hour or longer, and you don't know where that time is gone, and mentally you start to feel a little bit like a tiger pacing back and forth in a cage, just sat there like... And it's really not good for you, it's not stimulating for your brain, it just kind of makes you feel really passive and sluggish. So what I like to do when I notice myself getting into that frame of mind is I like to switch up my style and actually engage. So I will go in search of new content, I will make a new board on Pinterest. Subtitling my old YouTube videos is a great way to get my brain focused on something, and it has the added bonus of making my videos more accessible, so win-win. Leaving comments on people's videos, going in search of a topic that you want to learn more about, so history or boats or nature or aerodynamics, I don't know, whatever you're into, going in search of a particular topic. Did you know ants can't die from falling off stuff? I learned this today, I'm really excited. Okay, so the terminal velocity of an ant is too low and the exoskeleton is too strong that you can drop an ant from any height and it won't die. Like, that's so cool. So yeah, find things and actively engage with them. And also, it's worth noting, it is really good to have a break from screens. I don't want to be that person, but it is really good. So, you know, get up, have a walk around your house, walk around to the outside, do a bit of a dance, just do something away from screens, because it is good for your eyes and your brain to have a break. So those are my tips for how to positively engage with the internet. So just to summarize, use the block button and curate your space to be free of the negative vibes. Don't engage in self-destructive behaviour that you know will make you upset or angry. Send positive comments and positive messages to people. Promote what you love and just everything you hate, push it to the side. Promote what you love and promote people's work. And make sure that you are actively engaging with the internet and not just turning your brain to mush. So I hope this video was helpful or informative. If you have any tips on how you like to make the internet a more positive space for you, then please drop a comment. I love receiving comments. So drop one in the comment section down below. And I do have quite a lot of social media. I will leave them all in the description so that you can follow them if you do wish. And this is my new favourite hair flower. I got it from Lady B Loves and it's so pretty. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Remember to have courage and be kind in all spheres of life, and may all of your dreams come true. And I will see you in my next video. Bye! I filmed this video yesterday and then I put my memory card into my computer and there was nothing there. I was so sad because I looked so cute yesterday. But I got a lot of pictures, so my cuteness was still documented. But yeah, but this dress is cute too, so now I'm glad that I have this on film. This is from Collectif. Whee! I got a new pair of shoes from B.A.I.T and I've had shoe stretches in them for like 2 days and I'm now wearing them to try and like soften them up a bit. And they're so cute. But right now, I'm not going to lie, they're not very comfortable. I have really wide feet.